Hi everyone. First of all, thanks for listening to this guideline video. So I'm Warren from UKEC. Some of you probably know me already from the fair or from the talk that we're given at your university. And today we have Yen Yi from Xinlong VC joining us
today.
Hello
everybody.
So Xinlong VC is our visa team, our UKEC visa team. They will be the one actually helping you with your visa application later on in the process.
Yes.
Do you want to tell us a little bit more about the visa team?
Yep, so I'm Yan Yi from Xinlong Visa, and there are currently 6 OISC regulated advisors working at UKEC, so all of us have passed rigorous exams to obtain this qualification so that we can provide regulated immigration advice to you. So today I'm just going to talk about the Tier 4 general student process.
Yes, so this video basically will cover 2 things: how to sign up for our visa service, our free visa service, and how does it work. And the second part will be just giving you a brief overview of the whole Tier 4 student visa process and what is it like, what are the things that you need to be aware of.
Yes.
So let's just start with the first thing, our Tier 4 service. So if you are currently our UKEC students, you probably will be qualified for a free visa service. This will apply if you are enrolling to our UKEC partner universities. For example, if you are a BPTC student, then don't worry about it, you will qualify for a free visa service. If you are enrolling to non-partner universities, this is in a very rare cases. There will be a small charge of £200, not really small, a charge of £200 for the visa service. But if you're not sure, just speak to your education advisor and they will be able to guide you through. In general, I would say most of the UKEC students, you will be qualified for the free visa service.
Yes.
If you're watching this video and you are non-UKEC students, don't worry about it, we can still help you. Speak to one of us, education advisors at international at ukec.com, and we will be able to help you with your visa application, and you might be qualified for the free visa service as well. Our Tier 4 visa service basically cover from consultation, helping you to prepare for your money in terms of your bank statement, make sure it's correct, checking all the documents, as well as filling out the visa online application form. Basically for you as a student, once you submit all the documents and fill out a visa questionnaire, all you have to do is to show up on your visa appointment.
And to double check the form that we filled in.
Yeah, and also double check
So
the
it's
form.
pretty straightforward.
It's really
We do the
straightforward,
work for
not a lot you have to do. And we're here to support you throughout all stages.
Yeah.
You're probably going to ask how to sign up for the service. If you're currently in UKEC students, your education advisor will contact you this month asking whether you need to use this service. This service is completely free, as I mentioned. But if you're unsure, if your education advisor didn't contact you, just send them a text, send them an email, and they will get back to you as soon as possible. But if you're non-UKEC students, just follow the contact information in the PowerPoint slides. Either send an email or call us and we will be able to help you. As I said, you might be able to qualify for a free Tier 4 visa service as well. So now I will pass it on to Yan Yi, so she will talk a little bit more about the Tier 4 visa.
Yep, so I'm going to talk about the Tier 4 general student process, what documents you need to prepare, as well as the fees, any minuscule details that you should be aware of. So give you an idea of some sample documents so you know what is considered a good bank statement.
Yes.
So I'm just going to guide you through how you're going to get that visa today. So the first thing that we need to consider is where to make your visa application, whether that will be in your home country or in the UK. So one thing to consider is something called academic progression. So I know a lot of students listening are undergraduate students in the UK, and you will be progressing to a master's course Now, a master's course is level 7. Undergraduate is a level 6. So if you finished your undergraduate degree and you're going on to masters, that's called academic progression. You're going up a level. So in that scenario, students are able to stay in the UK to make their visa application. Now, in some situations, you have to return to your home country to make your visa application. So one scenario that I really need to emphasize is whether our students who are currently studying at a private provider. So institutions such as Into Manchester, Kaplan, because of the status of their sponsorship, unfortunately, such students cannot make their application in the UK. So even if you've got the cash, you save the money, sorry, you have to go home. That's all I can say. So other scenarios in which there is no academic progression, like failing your course, or if you've been issued a CAS for the pre-sessional course only, these type of students will also need to return back to their home country to make their application. So another important aspect to consider is your visa expiry date. So if you don't know what it is, check it out now. So I think a lot of students studying in the UK, theirs probably will expire in October, end of October. So these type of students, perfectly fine. You can make your application in the UK because most master courses or university starts in September, October time. So it's the students whose visa expires in July or August. Now, this type of students will have to go home to make their visa application. So if we look at this example, if your visa expires on the 31st of August and your course starts the 26th of September, now this student can stay in the UK to make their visa application because there is less than 28 days between the visa expiry date as well as between the visa expiry date and the course start date. So this student can make the application in the UK. But if your visa expiry is after your course start date, again, you can stay in the UK to make your visa application.
Yes, for some students, I know your visa is going to expire in July. So, for example, by the end of July.
Yeah.
Then, if your course is starting in September,
Mid-September,
late September.
Sorry.
Yeah, unfortunately, you have to go home for your visa application. But it's good, so you get a chance to see your family,
See
your
your
friends.
your friends. Okay, so following this, these are the documents that you would need to prepare for your visa. So the must is you need to have your CAS, a passport, a valid passport, 2 photos if you're in the UK, BRP card, as well as police registration. So police registration, TB test and ATAS, I won't discuss in too much detail now, but I will later on for those who might need them. So these are academic documents that you will need to submit if you are not on Appendix H. If you are on Appendix H, it means that you are from a low-risk country, and because you are from a low-risk country, then your application will be much straightforward because you don't need to submit like financial evidence, your degree certificate. Although you don't need to submit these documents, you will need to prepare beforehand. So that means your money will still need to be in your bank account or your parents' bank account for at least 28 days prior to your application, because UKVI reserve the right to request such documents, and if you did not prepare and they did randomly pick your application, then sadly your visa will be refused because you couldn't provide that evidence. So Appendix H, the this is the low-risk nationalities. So Brazil, Kazakhstan, Mauritius, Oman, Peru, and Tunisia were added on the 6th of April of this year. So I know a lot of our students are Malaysian nationals, so they are on Appendix H. So like I said, you need to prepare, but do not need to submit.
Next slide, please.
Tran. Why is it not working? It's not working again. Okay, so this is probably the most asked question I get when students come and consult with me. So this is the financial aspect. So the most common question I get is, how much money should I save? So UKVI requires you to save the unpaid tuition fee plus maximum 9 months worth of living expense. So if you are going to study at a central London or London-based institution such as UCL, KCL, BPP London,
University of London,
or
any university that is located
so
in
Loughborough University London campus
yes.
will be considered as 11,385. So that's 9 months worth of living expense. So if you are going to a university outside of London, so Manchester, Edinburgh, Coventry, Essex, then you will need to save £9,135 worth of living expense. So let's give an example. So I'm going to Manchester University. My tuition fee is £20,000.
Expensive.
That's life. Plus the £9,135 of maintenance fees. So the minimum that I need to save is £29,135. So if I'm £1 short, I'm going to get rejected. So you need to have the minimum. Anything over, perfect. So this is the next most common question we get is, when should I deposit my funds? So a lot of students, their courses will definitely start in September, October time. And then the earliest that you can make your visa application is 3 months before your course start date. So that takes it to June, July time.
Yes.
So that's the earliest that you can make your visa application. So because the funds need to be saved for at least 28 days, we recommend that you save your money in May/June time. So that gives the funds at least 28 days in the bank, so that once it's the 28 days up, you got your CAS, you can make your application straight away. There's no waiting around, you've done it. You're on your way to getting your visa. So like I said, early bird catches the worm. So these are the type of bank accounts that students use to save their funds. So in the UK, you can use your current or saving account. So official financial sponsorship, so those that are sponsored by the government. We're going to talk about those in more detail in our next live stream, which will be on the 10th of May, 2 p.m. UK time. So if you're from one of those, if you're needing this, then check us out on the 10th of May. So those who are applying in their home country, you can use your current account. I know Malaysian students also use fixed deposits as well as time-saving deposit certificates. Those are also perfectly fine. I have to add, the funds need to be in cash. So it needs to be, you can put it in, take it out. It can't be credit card, mortgage, those types of those type of funds cannot be used for your visa application. Student loan is okay, as well as official financial sponsorship.
Some student probably will ask, for example, if I'm going to use a bank in Malaysia,
Yes.
and the bank statement probably will show the currency in Malaysia, not in pound.
Okay.
Would that be all right?
Yes, that's perfectly acceptable as long as the amount is equivalent to the minimum in pounds. So UKVI uses Oanda as the currency exchange rate. So if you're not sure how much you need to save in another currency, then please use oanda.com because that is the one that UKVI uses.
So basically, I just need to say wherever the equivalent.
Yes, equivalent. More if you can, due to exchange rate fluctuations.
Yes.
Next thing I want to talk about is parents' funds, because I know many of you will be using your parents' bank accounts to meet the financial requirements of the visa. We do recommend that you do save the funds under your own named bank account because it saves the hassle of providing extra documents as well as any additional translation fees that might occur because any documents that isn't in English, including the stamp, needs to be translated by a certified translator. But however, if you have to use your parents' funds and their accounts, then you need to provide these following additional documents. So not only do you need to provide your parents' bank statement, you need to provide a birth certificate, something to show the relationship between you and your mum and dad. As well as this, you will need to provide a parental consent to funds letter. So in this letter, it needs to include the fact that your mum or dad give you their permission for you to use this money in the UK, and it also needs to confirm the relationship between you and your mum and dad. So we do have a template should you wish to use your parents' funds. So you can get this from your education advisor or Warren. So yes. I also need to add that only your own named bank account or your mum or your dad's named bank account can be used. Any other people such as your friend, your aunt, your teacher, sadly, they cannot they cannot meet this financial requirement, sadly, and they cannot be used. True story, my friend has seen taekwondo instructor's bank statement before, so sadly this student did not get the visa. So again, I need to emphasize only you, your named bank account, or your mum and dad's named bank account.
But the
or legal guardian.
Yes, but the alternative is, for example, your uncle is going to sponsor you study in the UK.
Yep.
Then do let him know earlier. That's why we're having this video at this time of the year, because you still have time to prepare for it.
Yes.
Either ask your uncle to save the money in your bank account or in your parents' bank account.
Funds, yeah.
Now, so that there's the 28 days requirement would be fulfilled.
Yeah, so that's one way around it. So the bank statement that you obtain needs to have these following details in order for it to meet UKVI requirements. So this includes things such as your name, account number, your financial institution's title and logo, the amount of money available, the money needs to have been saved for at least 28 consecutive days, and then the document is only valid for 31 days. So what I mean by that is, so today is the 1st of May, if I went and obtained a bank statement today, and it fulfills that, it means that I need to make my online visa application by the 31st of May. So if it comes to the 1st of June and I still haven't made my visa application, then that bank statement is of no use anymore, isn't valid.
Okay.
So I recommend if students that are going to save their funds in the UK bank accounts, but they're going home to Malaysia, for example, I recommend that you go, and your funds have been saved for 20 days, to go and obtain the bank statement before you catch your flight home, and then make your application in Malaysia within 31 days. Not working days, including weekends, so it's just 31 days. So that's my recommendation for students who are going to be saving their funds here, but will be making the application in their home country. So now I'm just going to show you some sample bank statements from our previous students. So this one is from Barclays. This one meets the requirements because I see the Barclays logo, I see the student's name, account number, so everyday saver statement's fine. So on the 15th of August, she had the opening balance of £29,616.72. And then on the 14th of September, her closing balance is £28,796.02. So this student has maintained her funds for more than 28 days. And so this bank statement gets a thumbs up. This meets UKVI requirements, and she will get her visa if everything else goes well, which it will. So this is a bank statement from Hong Leong Bank in Malaysia. So this is a current account. So I think in the beginning, I can't see it from here, but I think there's about 3-4 months in these transactions. So the only thing that I would say is if it is an online printout, then the bank statement not only needs to have the 6 items that I mentioned earlier, it also needs to be stamped by the bank on every single page for it to be valid. So the same goes for OCBC. Again, it needs to have a stamp on every single page. So the next one that I want to talk about is Monzo. So Monzo is an online bank which has gained a lot of popularity with students and everybody in the UK.
What we're referring to Monzo is Monzo and other similar product.
Yes,
online banking service.
Financial services.
That doesn't have like a physical branch in the UK.
So because they don't have a physical branch in the UK, it's quite difficult for you to obtain the stamp, right? Which is what UKVI requires. So we did our research. We checked it is regulated by the FCA and PRA, but with restrictions. I couldn't find out what those restrictions were, and because of that, we at UKEC do not recommend that students save their funds in Monzo because it's quite risky, and because those restrictions aren't clear, we're worried that if you do use Monzo and you do submit this as your bank statement, we fear that your visa might get rejected. So because we are visa advisors and we calculate all of the risks involved in your case, we do not recommend Monzo. But we did find that you can actually submit a bank statement from Monzo. However, Monzo will need to supply a supporting statement to confirm the authenticity of this document. So I feel that there's quite a hassle. So you're better off just saving your funds in like Barclays, Santander, HSBC, TSB, etc. So police registration, this is only for certain nationals who are coming to study at a UK institution for more than 6 months. So I know Malaysia and Vietnam aren't on the list. So these students don't need to have a police registration certificate, although I have seen students who don't need one have one. I don't know what's happened. This is for UK extension only. If you're not sure whether you need a police registration, then please check the visa sticker in your passport. In the remarks section, if it says police registration, it means that you need to go and register with the police. If it doesn't say it, it means you've got away. You don't need to have this document. So basically, every time that you change address, change your visa, change your name, change your passport, you need to go and update your details with the police. So if you don't update it, you will be liable for a £5,000 fine or 6 months imprisonment. So I know students who don't change this regularly, they do get a warning from the police when they do finally go and update it. So I'm telling you now, if you need to make your visa application in the UK and you need a police registration certificate, then please make sure that it is the most updated version. So the next thing that I'm going to talk about is tuberculosis test or TB test. So again, this is for people from with a certain nationality who are coming to study for to come and to the UK to study a course for more than 6 months. So if you're not sure whether you need a TB test, you just need to go on the gov.uk website and find your nationality. If it's not on there, you don't need one. But Malaysia and Vietnam are on the list. So if you go on the gov.uk website, you can find the list of UK VI approved hospitals. So I need to emphasise that you have to get tested at a UK VI approved hospital on that list. If you do not, and you submit another type of TB medical certificate, so one that doesn't look like the one on the screen, then you will get a visa refusal. So if you need to get a TB test, then it costs 100 to 200 ringgit or $105 if you're from Vietnam. You need to bring your passport as well as 2 passport photos. So on the medical certificate, there is a area UK address. So a lot of students at this moment in time don't know where they're going to go or where they're going to stay. So it's perfectly acceptable for you to leave this blank. If you already have confirmed or decided where you're going to go, it's okay to put your university's address on there. But if you're in between, leave it blank and fill it in at a later date. So when
one thing remember is don't put UKEC office address, right?
Do not put that. I had someone ask me that last week or 2 weeks ago, and I said no, please don't put our address because you're not coming to study at UKEC. So it takes about 2 to 3 days for this medical certificate to be issued. I know some clinics also issue this on the same day. Because this TB test is valid for 6 months, we recommend that you get it done now if you need it, to save the hassle of doing it in the summertime when it's the peak season and it's going to be loads of students. So early bird catches the worm. So a lot of our students are Malaysian or Vietnamese. Then because most of you are studying here on an undergraduate degree, you will have been in the UK for more than 6 months. Because if you stayed in a country that is exempt from TB for more than 6 months, then you can actually be exempt from doing the TB test. So one way to prove that you've left your home country for more than 6 months is through a boarding pass or through an entry stamp. So a lot of students, when they go home, like to use the e-gate. So e-gate, although it's really convenient, you have to fly through immigration control very quickly, but for the sake of being exempt from TB, we recommend that you go through past the immigration desk and get this entry stamp.
It's just this would save you a lot of time when you arrive in your home country. You don't need to take the TB test again. So really simple. For example, if you're a Malaysian student, when you arrive in the airport, just don't use the e-gate. It's really tempted, but don't use it, and go to the immigration desk. Ask the immigration officer to stamp on your passport. Some student experience before is the immigration officer will ask why do you want me to stamp on your passport? you are a local resident already, but do tell them that this is for your visa purposes, and then they will be more than happy to stamp it for you.
Yes. No, maybe they just like the stamp.
Yes.
That's me.
And also, this we think between the boarding pass and the passport stamp, the most reliable one definitely will be the passport stamp, because
Yes.
for boarding pass, the as you know, it's printed by like a receipt machine.
Yeah, it's
and
just
then
a
the
piece of
word would
paper. You
fade
can
away,
definitely
yeah.
throw it away,
Yes.
lose it, it'll be damaged. And because this stamp is in your passport, and passport is a very, very important document, then it's in there, it's safe. And so when you submit your passport to the entry clearance, when you make your application, entry clearance officer will check through your passport and they can see that you have the entry stamp. You don't need to
Yeah.
submit
Because
any
some
other
students do
additional
ask about
document.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't need to submit any additional documents because it's in there, it's in your passport.
Yes. You don't need to tell them anything. When you
Yes.
submit your visa application, the entry clearance officer basically look through your passport.
Yeah, so visa advisor, so UKC visa advisor will also double check this with you. So if you don't have it, you will need to get like a replacement stamp or another type of evidence. So we will check as well whether you have this or whether you can be exempt. So don't worry, UKEC is here for you. In Malaysia, there are 4 UKBI approved hospitals. So again, it's the gov.uk website where you can find that information. So the next thing that I want to talk about is ATAS. So this is for students that are studying courses which contain sensitive topics. So this can include courses such as chemistry, physics, technology, engineering and technology, material science. So these type of students definitely need an ATAS. So this is for master students only, undergraduates do not need this. If you're not sure as to whether you need this ATAS, this will be written on your conditional offer letter. So it says like CAH and then there's like a code. So if you check it, if you need one, you need to apply as soon as possible. It takes 20 working days for this to be processed. There is no fast track. So if you didn't know that you need to apply, and then by the time you apply it's a bit too late,
Yes.
then unfortunately you won't be going to the UK to study because you know ATAS, but you need it, but you didn't apply for one, your visa will be refused. So if you are a law student, no, you do not need ATAS.
Yes, so your law student, don't worry about it at
Don't
all.
worry.
This is really just for postgraduate student in science area that is quite like a
I
sensitive
just wanted
subject.
to remind those because it's quite like a small aspect,
Yes.
but it's very important for me to let students who do need this know. So if you are applying in the UK, we use the gov.uk website to make the application. Since last year, students who are making their visa extension in the UK will need to book an appointment on the UK Visa and Citizenship Application Service website. So you need to book an appointment on this website, and then after you've selected your time, you can actually upload your documents onto the system so that when you actually go to your appointment, all you need to do is like double check what you've uploaded, and if it's okay, you only need to have a photo taken as well as enroll your biometrics. So one perk of this new service is that you get to keep your passport with you. So that's really, really handy. Although you do have your passport, we don't recommend that you go anywhere because they have your PRP card.
Yes.
So you can exit the country, but but you cannot enter back into the UK. So if you are applying in your home country, we recommend that you use Access UK to make your application, because I know there is Visa for UK, but that is the old system. So Access UK is more user friendly, it's more straightforward, the questions that they ask are easier to answer, it's more self-explanatory, whereas Visa for UK, you had to, if you've never filled it, you would be quite frightened or startled by what they ask you.
Yeah.
So we recommend Access UK, but you know, if you're a UK student, we as your visa advisor will help you to fill in that form. So there are a few differences between applying in your home country and the UK application. I will discuss those in a bit, so don't panic. So the next thing that I want to talk about is the application fees and processing time. So if you look at the screen now, there is quite a hefty difference between the UK and home country's price, as well as processing time. So UK standard takes 8 weeks and costs £475. If you apply in your home country, it's 15 working days and costs £348. But it might change because of your home country's currency.
Yes.
So you might pay in US dollar, in China you pay in renminbi, so it will automatically calculate using the Oman exchange rates. Because of the huge difference, we do recommend students to make their application in their home country, because not only is it cheaper, significantly cheaper, the processing time is a lot faster. So if you, for example, take the priority one in the UK, £975, I feel like you can buy a return flight to get home, do the standard visa, and come back in in like, I don't know, less time. Like the price is just too much difference.
And then compare the home. When you're applying at home, the process is much straightforward as well, right?
It's the same, but like because of the processing time, then I definitely recommend.
Yeah, because I know some students, you're probably going to go travel in June, July time after the exams, before your graduation, but you will go home after your graduation, which may be in August time.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're worrying about that, whether you would make the visa application on time, then the best way would be applying at home as well.
Yeah, spend time with your family,
Yes.
Get to meet up with your friends.
And it takes only 15 working days, and then
although in the peak season it might exceed 15 working days, but it's still considerably quicker.
Some students would opt for the priority one.
Yes,
as
a lot of students do that, but it's still cheaper
Yes.
than the UK if we want to discuss it further. So on top of the visa application fee, there is a IHS fee. So since this year it's doubled, so £300. So last year it was only £150 per year. So master's students, you are looking at around £450 minimum to contribute to our lovely NHS. So yes, that is something that everybody has to pay. So not just students, people who are coming to work in the UK, or those who are coming to set up business, they have to pay £400 per year of IHS fees. So that's something for you to consider. So this is just a application timeline of the visa process. So now, if you need ATAS, we recommend you do it now. When do you put the money into your bank account, which I deposit? We also recommend May to June time. So TB certificate is also as soon as possible. Police registration, again, we recommend that you update it before you submit your visa application. And then CAS was about July, August time. And then make your application, and then your visa should be approved. before you start in September. So this is just a quick recap of the documents that you will need to prepare. So I probably recommend you to screenshot this as a reminder. So remember those students who are from a low risk country, so Appendix H, or those who are applying for an institution that is a Tier 4 pilot scheme, you need to prepare those documents, but you do not need to submit. This is the collection of the most common questionnaire problems that I have experienced. So these questions are, students don't really answer them very well. So this is our questionnaire. This is not the application form, but our questionnaire is like similar to the application form. We will be using this information to input in the application. So we really need to emphasize that the information is accurate and that you are being truthful when you fill out this questionnaire, because if you do not fill it in truthfully, there might be negative consequences to your visa result. So I'm going to quickly skim through these questions. So the first one that I see that is quite a badly answered question is national insurance number. So for those of you who don't know what national insurance number is, it's basically if you want to work or find a part-time job in the UK, you will need to have this number so that you can pay your taxes to the UK government. So it's like, so for example, AB 2020, and it's like B or A or whatever. So that is the format of the national insurance number. So everybody that works in the UK has one. So students aren't sure what that is. So if you don't have one, just put NA. If you have one, please put what your number is and the reason why you got the number. So I think most of the students that are listening will probably be because of finding a part-time job. That's the most common answer I see.
Yes.
So the next one that I feel like is not really well answered is, have you been refused entry to the UK or any other country? Now this question is very, very important, because I've had a student in which he did something bad, or he had a previous visa refusal, and he didn't put that on his questionnaire because he didn't tell me or didn't write it down. And then when I filled in the application form and then submitted his application, he actually got refused his Tier 4 visa because UKVI said that this student wasn't being honest, because he didn't disclose the fact that he had a previous visa refusal. So I want to emphasize that no matter how big or how small that you got refused entry into the UK, whether that be things such as like a CCJ or a speeding ticket, students, I've also seen students that have thrown rubbish and got fined by Liverpool Council. So things like that, please write them down, no matter how big or small. We need to know. Don't be embarrassed. That one I felt a bit, one that threw a letter.
It just
So
mainly be truthful, just in case. You never know, because if you're not sure, just put it down.
Just put it down, and I will, or me and my team will discuss this with you about what's the best way to solve it, whatever. So your first point of contact will be your visa advisor or your education advisor. So another area in which I find is quite a common problem is parents' details. So I know some students' parents might have divorced, or one of their parents have passed away. It doesn't really, it's only for UKVI's information to know that your parents' name, date of birth, as well as nationality. That's it. That's all they need to know. So that one is sometimes quite badly answered. So the next thing that I want to talk about is travel history. probably the most difficult part to answer, because I know students like to go travelling a lot, and so they have quite a long travel history. On the Access UK form, you only need to fill out the 2 most recent trips to the UK. So those of you who don't know how to answer this one, I would say, if you don't remember, like if for example, you started your course in September 2015 and then you graduate in June 2019, then I would just put once September 2015, stay for about 3 years, 8 months, and then purpose of study, so that would be 1. But if you remember or you have a record of like your recent exit and entry dates, so for example, September 2018, I came back to the UK, and then in December 2018 I went to Iceland for a holiday. So I would consider that as 1 trip to the UK, so that would be September, October, November, 4 months. And then the next one would be December 2018 until present, so that would be about 5 months, 6 months. And also I would put that as studies, so then that's how I would calculate what my 2 most recent trips to the UK would be. If you're unsure, again, you can also talk to your visa advisor. So the next one is also difficult for students to answer, because I know students like to go travelling. So it's, have you ever travelled outside of your country of residence, excluding the UK, in the last 10 years? So unlike the previous question where it's capped at 2, this one has unlimited answers. So if you've been to 20 countries, then you're going to have to fill out this part 20 times if you've been in the last 10 years. So anything from holiday, studying, business trip. So you do need to put all of this information down, sadly. But it's, you know, for a visa you need to be honest. And I will be using this information for your visa application, so you need to make sure that you know your travel history better than I do.
Yes. So
it's up to you to help us to write this down. So here at Shinong Visa we provide a range of other services. So we don't just only do Tier 4. So students who have who will be currently studying a master's and they have like a spouse or their children would like to come accompany them to the UK, we can also help you to make the dependent application. So if your parents are wanting to come to the UK for like a short holiday and to attend your graduation ceremony, we can also help you do the short standard visitor visa. So those who are going to work in the UK and have already got a Tier 2 sponsorship, we can also assist you with that application, or those who are eligible for the Tier 5 Youth Mobility Scheme, we can also help you to apply. So recently there have been some really exciting changes for those who wish to go down the entrepreneurial route. Home Office has introduced the Startup and Innovator Visa. So this route is for any budding entrepreneurs who wish to build up a business in the UK. So the really good thing about these visas is that it's granted for 2 years, the startup one, and that there is no funding requirements. So students who wish to stay in the UK and would like to try their hand at building a business, please come and talk to us at Shinong Visa if you wish to know more. So our contact details are here. So that's the end of my
Thank you, Yanni.
segment.
Yes, thank you for all the explanation. It's just a final reminder, if you are currently a BPTC student applying to study in September, two things you need to bear in mind. The first one is to apply for an intake code before the 31st of May. That's the ultimate deadline. There's nowhere they will be able to extend this deadline for you. So you will have to submit the application by the 31st of May. Second will be the BCAT. I know you guys are preparing for your exams at the minute, but it's still good to arrange for a test date first. It doesn't need to be in May, it could be in June or in July, but you don't have an unconditional offer unless you've taken a BCAT and a confirmation from him. So it's better if you arrange a date soon, just so your desired date won't get filled up, because it could get filled up quite quickly. Thank you so much for listening today. I hope you find it useful. If you have any questions, if you have any concerns, please speak to your education advisor. They would be more than happy to answer your question, and also if there's anything needed, they will refer it to the visa team as well.
Yes.
And Yanni and the team will be able to guide you through the whole process as well.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you for today.
Bye.
See you soon.